like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right. Welcome to your personalized deep dive. You've always been curious about how the Zodiac can, give us insights into ourselves. So today, we're going way beyond just, your basic sun sign descriptions.
Right.
To really unlock the, potential of your unique astrological blueprint. We're going to be diving deep into the ultimate Zodiac guide, unlocking love, friendship, and success through the stars.
Yeah, and this guide, it goes way beyond just listing traits. It offers practical advice on how to actually leverage your strengths, navigate challenges, even find careers that align with your cosmic energy.
I love that cosmic energy. It's like each sign has their own unique vibe.
Exactly.
Speaking of vibes, you mentioned that you're thinking about a career change, right?
That's right, yeah.
But this guide might have some surprising advice for you.
Okay.
Let's start with your sun sign, Capricorn. You're known for your ambition and discipline. So naturally, you gravitate towards structured careers, like business or law.
Yeah, the guide actually highlights that Capricorns are particularly adept at climbing the corporate ladder, you know? Okay.
Their strategic thinking and long-term vision make them natural leaders.
Okay, that makes sense. But what happens when a Capricorn like you is ready for something new? Does the guide offer any insights into less traditional career paths for Capricorns?
It actually does.
Really?
What's fascinating is that it suggests that Capricorns might find unexpected fulfillment in roles that involve building or creating something tangible, like architecture or even woodworking. That practical, grounded energy can be channeled in a lot of different ways.
That's interesting. So it's not just about following a predetermined path. It's about understanding how your core Capricorn traits can translate into different fields.
Exactly. It's about recognizing your strengths and then finding creative ways to apply them.
Okay.
For example, the guide mentions that Capricorns often excel in finance because of their analytical minds and meticulous attention to detail.
So those same skills could be used to manage a construction project or create a detailed design plan, right?
Absolutely.
And the guide emphasizes that a Capricorn's determination is a major asset in any career. They're not afraid of hard work, and they have the tenacity to see projects through to completion.
I've definitely seen that in you.
Yeah.
But let's not forget about those Capricorn challenges.
Right.
The guide mentions rigidity.
Yeah.
Right. Could that be a stumbling block when it comes to a career change?
It definitely could. Capricorns thrive on structure and routine, so stepping outside of their comfort zone can be particularly challenging. The guide suggests they practice flexibility and embrace the unknown, especially during transitions.
That sounds like good advice for anyone considering a major change, not just Capricorns.
Yeah.
But speaking of other signs, I'm curious about how the guide dives into compatibility, not just in romantic relationships,
Right.
but also in professional partnerships.
Yeah, that's one of the things I found most helpful. It goes beyond those generic, Aries and Leo are a perfect match statements and actually explores the nuances of how different signs interact in various contexts.
Right.
For instance, it suggests that while Capricorns might clash with more free-spirited signs like Gemini in a work setting, they can actually learn a lot from each other's contrasting approaches.
That's so interesting. It's like those classic opposites attract scenarios can actually be beneficial, especially in a collaborative environment.
Exactly. The guide emphasizes that recognizing the strengths and weaknesses of each sign can lead to a more harmonious and productive dynamic.
So, for example, a Capricorn's structured approach could balance out a Gemini's tendency to jump between ideas.
Right.
Well, the Gemini could help the Capricorn loosen up a bit and be more open to spontaneous inspiration.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that diversity of thought and approach can actually be a strength, not a weakness.
Now, let's shift gears a bit and talk about the more challenging aspects of each sign. I know the guide dives into how to overcome weaknesses, but does it also explore the shadow side of each sign?
It does, and it's one of the most insightful sections. It talks about how those seemingly negative traits can actually be valuable assets when channeled in the right way. For example, a Capricorn's tendency to be overly critical can actually be a strength when it comes to quality control or problem solving.
It's like that saying, everything has two sides.
Yeah.
It's about perspective, right?
Exactly. The guide encourages readers to embrace those shadow sides and view them as opportunities for growth, not something to be ashamed of.
That's such a positive and empowering message. Okay, so we've talked about Capricorns, but I'm curious about how the guide describes other signs. Let's move on to Aries, the trailblazer.
Aries is all about action and initiative. They're the first ones to jump into a new project, and they thrive in environments that allow them to express their independence and leadership qualities.
I can definitely see that, but the guide mentions impulsiveness as a potential downfall for Aries, right?
It does.
Okay.
And it suggests that Aries individuals learn to channel their impulsiveness into calculated risks rather than acting on every whim. It's about finding that balance between boldness and thoughtful action.
So, for example, an Aries might be brilliant at brainstorming new ideas.
Right.
But they also need to develop the patience and discipline to see those ideas through to fruition.
Exactly. And the guide offers some really practical advice for Aries on how to cultivate those skills.
Okay.
For instance, it suggests practicing mindfulness techniques to become more aware of their impulses and make conscious choices rather than reacting instinctively.
That makes sense. Now, what about Taurus, the grounded creator? They're known for their love of beauty and stability, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The guide highlights how Taurus individuals find joy in creating things that bring pleasure to the senses, whether it's a delicious meal, a beautiful garden, or a comfortable home.
I definitely see that. But they're also known for their stubborn streak, right? Wait, how does the guide address that?
It encourages Taurus to embrace their steadfastness,
Okay.
but also to recognize when it might be hindering their growth. It suggests they practice flexibility and open-mindedness, especially when it comes to new experiences or perspectives that challenge their comfort zones.
So it's about finding that balance between staying true to their values and being open to new possibilities.
Exactly. And the guide offers some specific strategies for Taurus individuals to cultivate that flexibility, like trying new activities, traveling to unfamiliar places, or even just engaging in conversations with people who hold different viewpoints.
Those are great suggestions. Now, let's talk about Gemini, the social butterfly.
Gemini.
They're known for their adaptability and love of communication.
Absolutely. Geminis thrive in environments where they can connect with others, share ideas, and constantly learn new things. They're the ultimate multitaskers.
Yeah.
And they're often drawn to careers that involve variety and mental stimulation.
But their tendency to flit from one thing to another can be a challenge, right?
Right.
How does the guide address that?
It encourages Geminis to embrace their multifaceted nature,
Okay.
but also to learn the value of focus and follow through. It suggests they choose careers or projects that allow them to utilize their diverse skills while also providing opportunities for deep engagement and mastery.
So it's about finding that sweet spot where they can satisfy their intellectual curiosity while also developing a sense of purpose and accomplishment.
Exactly. And the guide provides some really helpful tips for Geminis on how to find that balance.
Okay.
Like setting clear goals, prioritizing tasks, and learning to say no to distractions.
Now, how about Cancer, the emotional anchor?
Yeah.
They're known for their nurturing and empathetic nature, right?
Absolutely. Cancers are incredibly intuitive and compassionate individuals who thrive in environments where they can create a sense of belonging and care for others. They're often drawn to careers in fields like counseling, teaching, or social work.
But their sensitivity can also be a challenge, right?
Yeah.
How does the guide address that?
It encourages Cancers to embrace their empathy, but also to establish healthy boundaries to avoid becoming overwhelmed by the emotions of others. It suggests they practice self-care and develop coping mechanisms to manage their own emotional well-being.
So it's about finding that balance between caring for others and prioritizing their own needs.
Exactly. And the guide offers some specific strategies for Cancers to cultivate those boundaries, like setting aside time for themselves, engaging in activities that bring them joy, and learning to say no when they need to. It also emphasizes the importance of open communication with loved ones about their emotional needs.
Those are great suggestions. Okay, let's move on to Leo, the charismatic leader.
Leos are natural performers who love to be in the spotlight.
Right.
They're generous, warm-hearted, and they have a contagious enthusiasm that draws people to them. The guide suggests that Leos thrive in careers where they can express their creativity and inspire others.
But their need for attention can also be a challenge, right?
It can be. The guide encourages Leos to channel their desire for recognition in positive ways, like mentoring others, using their platform to advocate for causes they believe in, or simply being a source of joy and inspiration in their personal relationships.
So it's about using their charisma for good and finding fulfillment in empowering others rather than seeking validation solely for themselves.
Exactly. Now let's talk about Virgo. the detail-oriented perfectionist.
Virgos are known for their analytical minds and their love of order and efficiency. They thrive in environments where they can apply their problem-solving skills and their meticulous attention to detail.
The guide suggests that Virgos often excel in careers that involve analysis, research, or organization, such as accounting, editing, or healthcare.
But their perfectionism can also be a challenge, right?
It can be. The guide encourages Virgos to embrace their high standards,
Okay.
but also to practice self-compassion and learn to let go of the need for absolute control. It suggests they find joy in the process rather than focusing solely on the outcome, and to recognize that imperfection is a natural part of life.
So it's about finding that balance between striving for excellence and accepting that good enough is sometimes good enough.
Exactly. Now, how about Libra, the diplomatic charmer?
Libras are all about balance, harmony, and fairness.
Right.
They're natural peacemakers who thrive in environments where they can use their diplomacy skills to create a sense of cooperation and understanding. They're often drawn to careers in fields like law, mediation, or design.
The guide highlights that Libras have an innate ability to see all sides of a situation and find solutions that benefit everyone involved.
Okay.
They're also known for their refined taste and their appreciation for beauty.
But their indecisiveness can be a challenge, right?
It can be. The guide encourages Libras to develop their decision-making skills by learning to trust their intuition and prioritize their own needs and desires. It suggests they practice making small decisions more quickly to build confidence in their judgment and to recognize that not every choice has to be perfect.
So it's about finding that balance between considering all perspectives and making a choice that aligns with their own values and goals.
Exactly. Now on to Scorpio, the intense visionary.
Scorpios are known for their depth, their intensity, and their magnetic presence. They're incredibly perceptive and intuitive individuals who thrive in environments where they can explore the mysteries of life and delve into the complexities of human nature. They're often drawn to careers in fields like psychology research or investigative journalism.
The guide highlights that Scorpios have a natural ability to uncover hidden truths and understand the motivations behind human behavior.
Interesting.
They're also known for their loyalty, their passion, and their unwavering determination.
But their tendency to be secretive and controlling can be a challenge. Right?
It can be. The guide encourages Scorpios to learn to trust others and let go of the need to control every situation. It suggests they practice vulnerability and open communication to build deeper, more authentic connections. It also emphasizes the importance of forgiveness, both for themselves and others, to release past hurts and move forward with greater peace of mind.
That's powerful advice. Now let's talk about Sagittarius, the adventurous explorer.
Sagittarians are known for their love of freedom, their thirst for knowledge, and their infectious optimism. They're natural explorers who thrive in environments where they can expand their horizons both physically and intellectually.
Yeah.
They're often drawn to careers in fields like travel, education, or philosophy.
The guide highlights that Sagittarians have an innate ability to see the bigger picture and find meaning in life's adventures.
Right.
They're also known for their honesty, their humor, and their ability to inspire others with their infectious enthusiasm. But their bluntness can be a challenge, right?
It can be. The guide encourages Sagittarians to temper their honesty with tact and sensitivity, especially when dealing with those who might be more easily offended. It suggests they practice active listening and consider the impact of their words before speaking.
So it's about finding that balance between speaking their truth and being mindful of the feelings of others.
Exactly. Now, how about Aquarius, the visionary innovator?
Aquarians are known for their originality, their independence, and their humanitarian spirit. They're natural rebels who thrive in environments where they can challenge the status quo and create a better world. They're often drawn to careers in fields like technology activism or the arts.
The guide highlights that Aquarians have an innate ability to see the world from a unique perspective and come up with innovative solutions to complex problems.
Okay.
They're also known for their intellectual curiosity, their open-mindedness, and their commitment to social justice.
But their tendency to be detached and emotionally aloof can be a challenge.
Right, it can be. The guide encourages Aquarians to cultivate their emotional intelligence and develop deeper, more meaningful connections with others.
Okay.
It suggests they practice empathy, active listening, and vulnerability to bridge the gap between their intellectual understanding of the world and their emotional experience of it.
So it's about finding that balance between their innovative ideas and their ability to connect with others on a heart level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Finally, let's talk about Pisces, a dreamy empath.
Pisces are known for their compassion, their creativity, and their deep connection to the spiritual realm. They're natural healers who thrive in environments where they can express their artistic talents and nurture the emotional well-being of others. They're often drawn to careers in fields like music, art therapy, or spiritual counseling.
The guide highlights that Pisces individuals have an innate ability to sense the emotions of others and offer a comforting presence to those in need. They're also known for their idealism, their intuition, and their ability to tap into the subconscious mind.
But their tendency to be overly sensitive and easily overwhelmed can be a challenge.
It can be. The guide encourages Pisces individuals to learn to protect their energy by setting healthy boundaries and creating a sanctuary for themselves where they can recharge and reconnect with their inner peace.
Okay.
It also emphasizes the importance of grounding practices, like spending time in nature or engaging in physical activities to balance their ethereal nature with a sense of stability and presence.
So it's about finding that balance between their empathetic nature and their need for self-preservation.
Exactly. The guide offers Pisces specific strategies for cultivating those boundaries, like learning to say no, setting aside time for solitude and creative expression, and practicing mindfulness techniques to stay grounded in the present moment.
This has been such an insightful exploration of each sign. It's amazing how the guide dives into both the strengths and the challenges, offering practical advice for navigating those more difficult aspects of our personalities.
And what's really fascinating is how it emphasizes that those negative traits can actually be valuable assets when channeled in the right way.
It's all about perspective, right?
Yeah.
Seeing those challenges as opportunities for growth rather than something to be ashamed of.
Exactly. And that leads us to an even deeper exploration of personal growth and fulfillment, which we'll delve into after a quick break. Stay tuned.
Sounds good. We've covered so much ground already, exploring the nuances of each sign and how their unique traits can influence career paths and relationships. It's fascinating how the ultimate Zodiac guide goes beyond just personality descriptions and provides such practical guidance.
It really does. And before the break, we touched on something quite intriguing, the concept of embracing our shadow sides.
Right. It's like those aspects of ourselves that we might consider negative can actually be valuable resources for growth.
Precisely. It reminds me of a passage from the guide where it discusses the shadow side of Virgo the perfectionist. It argues that while striving for excellence is a fantastic quality, getting bogged down in the pursuit of unattainable flawlessness can be paralyzing. The guide suggests reframing perfectionism as a drive for continuous improvement, focusing on progress over absolute perfection.
That's such a helpful reframe.
Yeah.
It takes the pressure off and allows Virgos to embrace the journey rather than fixating on a potentially elusive end goal.
Exactly. The guide emphasizes that by acknowledging and accepting our shadow sides, we can actually transform them into strength.
I love that perspective. It's like turning those perceived weaknesses into superpowers.
Precisely. And speaking of superpowers, earlier you mentioned you were facing a career change.
Oh, yeah?
Well, the guide dives into this topic too, offering insights into how each sign can navigate transitions and leverage their unique strengths to find fulfilling career paths.
That's perfect timing. I'm definitely looking for some cosmic guidance in that area. Does it offer specific advice for Capricorns facing career changes?
It does. It suggests that Capricorns with their natural ambition and leadership qualities might consider exploring entrepreneurial ventures. Their strategic thinking and long-term vision can make them incredibly successful business owners.
That's interesting. It never really occurred to me that my Capricorn traits could be well suited for entrepreneurship.
It's all about recognizing those inherent strengths and finding creative ways to apply them. The guide also suggests that Capricorns might excel in roles that involve building and creating something tangible, like architecture or project management. Their meticulous attention to detail and their drive for success can make them incredible assets in those fields.
Those are great suggestions.
Yeah.
It's definitely giving me some new avenues to consider. Speaking of new avenues, the guide also emphasizes adaptability as a key skill for navigating life's twists and turns, right?
It absolutely does. And it goes beyond just adapting to external changes. It also encourages cultivating an adaptable mindset.
Okay.
Which means being open to new information, new perspectives, and even challenging our own beliefs.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about embracing the unknown and being willing to learn and grow throughout our lives. But I imagine adaptability can look different for each sign, right?
Absolutely. For example, the guide suggests that for a Taurus who values stability and routine, adaptability might involve being more willing to try new things, break out of their comfort zone, and embrace spontaneity.
So for a Taurus, a small act of adaptability could be as simple as trying a new restaurant or taking a different route to work.
Exactly. It's about those small steps that gradually build flexibility and openness to change. And for a Gemini who's naturally adaptable and thrives on variety, the challenge might be in cultivating focus and follow-through.
So for a Gemini, adaptability might involve learning to prioritize tasks, set clear goals, and resist the urge to jump between too many projects.
Precisely. It's about recognizing their strengths and then developing the skills that complement those strengths, creating a more balanced and effective approach to life. And what's fascinating is that the guide connects adaptability to personal growth, suggesting that by embracing change and stepping outside of our comfort zones, we actually expand our capacity for happiness and fulfillment.
That's a powerful insight. It's like those moments of discomfort and uncertainty can actually lead to incredible breakthroughs and a deeper understanding of ourselves.
Exactly, and it's not just about individual growth. The guide also highlights the importance of empathy in building meaningful relationships and creating a more compassionate world.
That's so important, especially in today's world where connection and understanding seem more crucial than ever.
Yeah.
Does the guide offer specific advice on how to cultivate empathy?
It does. It emphasizes active listening as a foundational skill, suggesting we practice truly tuning into what others are saying, both verbally and non-verbally, without interrupting or imposing our own judgments. It also encourages us to ask clarifying questions to ensure we're truly understanding their perspective.
So it's about putting aside our own thoughts and feelings for a moment and really focusing on the other person's experience.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just listening. The guide suggests we make a conscious effort to imagine ourselves in the other person's shoes, considering their background, their experiences, and the factors that might be influencing their emotions and behavior.
That's such a powerful practice. It reminds me of that saying, walk a mile in someone else's shoes. It's about stepping outside of our own limited perspective and trying to see the world through their eyes.
Precisely. And the guide emphasizes that empathy isn't about agreeing with the other person or condoning their actions. It's about seeking to understand them on a deeper level, even if we don't share their viewpoint.
That's such an important distinction. It's about creating space for compassion and understanding, even when we encounter differing opinions or challenging situations.
Exactly. And what's really fascinating is that the guide suggests developing empathy can actually help us navigate difficult situations more effectively.
I'm intrigued. How does that work?
Well, when we understand where someone else is coming from, we're less likely to get defensive or react impulsively.
Right.
We can approach the situation with more calm and understanding, seeking to find common ground and solutions that benefit everyone involved.
That makes so much sense. It's like taking a step back from the emotional intensity of the moment and viewing the situation through a more objective lens.
Precisely. And it's not just about conflict resolution. The guide suggests that empathy is also essential for building strong, authentic relationships. When we feel truly seen and understood, it creates a deeper level of trust and connection.
That's so true. It's like those moments when we feel like someone gets us on a deeper level. It creates a sense of belonging and validation that strengthens the bond.
Exactly. And what's really beautiful is that the guide suggests empathy is a skill that can be developed and cultivated over time. It's not something we're either born with or not. It's a practice like any other that we can strengthen with conscious effort.
That's so encouraging. It means we all have the potential to become more empathetic individuals, which benefits not only ourselves, but also our relationships and the world around us.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating is how the guide connects adaptability and empathy to the bigger picture of personal growth and fulfillment. It suggests that by embracing change, stepping outside of our comfort zones, and cultivating deeper connections with others, we actually unlock our full potential as human beings.
That's a powerful insight. It's like these seemingly simple concepts of adaptability and empathy can actually lead to a richer, more meaningful life.
Exactly. And that's what we'll delve into next as we explore how these concepts tie into personal growth and fulfillment.
It's amazing how these seemingly simple concepts of adaptability and empathy can have such a profound impact on our lives.
Yeah.
It's like they're the keys to unlocking a whole new level of personal growth and fulfillment.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's not just about coping with change or understanding others. It's about using those skills to actively create a life that's more aligned with our values and purpose.
I love that, creating a life that's truly authentic and meaningful. Does the guide offer specific examples of how adaptability and empathy can help us achieve that?
It certainly does. One example that really resonated with me was how the guide encourages us to use empathy to build stronger relationships.
Okay.
It suggests that by truly understanding another person's perspective, even if we don't agree with it,
Right.
we can create a space for deeper connection and intimacy.
That makes so much sense. It's
Yeah.
about going beyond surface-level interactions and really trying to see the world through the other person's eyes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just about romantic relationships. The guide emphasizes that empathy is crucial for building trust and rapport in all kinds of relationships, whether it's with family members, friends, colleagues, or even strangers we encounter in our daily lives.
So by practicing empathy, we're not just improving our personal relationships, we're also contributing to a more compassionate, understanding world.
Precisely. And the guide goes even further, suggesting that empathy can be a powerful tool for personal growth.
Okay.
It argues that by stepping outside of our own limited perspective and understanding the experiences of others, we actually expand our own capacity for compassion and wisdom.
That's such a beautiful concept. It's like those moments when we encounter someone who's going through a difficult experience.
Yeah.
And by truly listening to their story,
Right.
we gain a deeper understanding of the human condition.
Exactly. And it's not just about listening to stories. The guide encourages us to actively seek out diverse perspectives and experiences, whether through travel, engaging with different cultures, or simply having conversations with people who hold different viewpoints than our own.
It's about challenging our own assumptions, but expanding our worldview.
Right, absolutely. And the guide emphasizes that this process of growth isn't always comfortable.
Right.
It can be challenging to confront our own biases and limitations, but it's through those challenges that we truly learn and evolve.
It's like those moments when we realize we were wrong about something,
Mm-hmm.
and it forces us to reconsider our beliefs and perspectives.
Right.
It can be humbling, but ultimately it leads to greater self-awareness and understanding.
Precisely. And the guide connects this concept of embracing discomfort to adaptability.
Okay.
It suggests that by becoming more comfortable with uncertainty and change, we actually open ourselves up to new opportunities for growth and fulfillment.
That makes sense. It's like if we're constantly trying to control everything and avoid any kind of discomfort, we're actually limiting our potential.
Exactly. The guide encourages us to view challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities to learn, adapt, and become more resilient.
It's about reframing our perspective and seeing those difficult moments as stepping stones on our path to growth.
Precisely. And what's fascinating is how the guide connects adaptability and empathy to the concept of finding our purpose. It suggests that by embracing change, understanding others, and constantly seeking to learn and grow,
Right.
we actually become more attuned to our own unique talents and passions.
That's so interesting. It's like those qualities help us to identify what truly lights us up and then gives us the courage to pursue it.
Exactly. The guide emphasizes that our purpose isn't necessarily something we find, but rather something we cultivate over time through our experiences, our relationships, and our willingness to embrace the unknown.
It's about being open to the journey and trusting that the path will unfold as we continue to learn and grow.
Precisely. And the guide encourages us to view our purpose not as a destination,
Okay.
but as an ongoing process of evolution and self-discovery.
That's such a liberating perspective. It takes the pressure off of having to have all the answers right now
Yeah.
and allows us to simply focus on being present in each moment and embracing the opportunities for growth that come our way.
Exactly. And the guide reminds us that this journey of personal growth and fulfillment is unique for each individual. There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
What matters most is that we're constantly striving to become the best versions of ourselves, whatever that may look like for each of us.
That's so empowering. It means we all have the power to create a life that's truly meaningful and fulfilling, regardless of our circumstances or our astrological sign.
Absolutely. And while the Zodiac can offer valuable insights and guidance, ultimately it's up to each of us to take ownership of our lives and make choices that align with our values and aspirations.
This has been such an incredible deep dive. We've gone from exploring the unique traits of each zodiac sign to uncovering universal truths about personal growth, empathy, adaptability, and finding our purpose. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of how astrology can be a powerful tool for self-discovery and transformation.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you, and remember, this was just your personalized deep dive tailored specifically to your interests. There's a whole universe of knowledge out there waiting to be discovered.
So true. And for our listener, if this deep dive sparked your curiosity about the Zodiac and its potential to guide you on your own journey of personal growth and fulfillment, I encourage you to explore the Ultimate Zodiac Guide further. It's full of fascinating insights and practical advice that can help you unlock your full potential.
And as a final thought to ponder, if adaptability and empathy are the keys to navigating life's challenges and maximizing opportunities, how can you start incorporating these qualities into your everyday interactions, regardless of your zodiac sign?
That's a great question to leave our listener with. It's a reminder that this deep dive wasn't just about gaining knowledge. It's about taking action and creating positive change in our lives and in the world around us.
Exactly. So go out there, embrace your adaptability, cultivate your empathy, and create a life that's truly fulfilling. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep shining bright.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.